Good morning, good morning, good morning. Here we are at another Friday, the last Friday in September of the year 2023. Life waits on no one. I'm going to jump right off into this thing. And I was like, what I'm going to talk about? So much has transpired this week. Some changes in life, everyday life, and nothing bad. Just choices have been made, and decisions have been made, choices have been presented, and decisions have been made on the choices that were presented. So I was just thinking, like, man, what I'm gonna talk about? I've been talking about marriage, and that's just been something that's been on my heart for a while, just marriage. And I guess this will probably be a segue into that subject again. But as I was preparing to get dressed this morning, just I had dinner with some girlfriends yesterday. Dinner with just about every night this week. I've been with somebody. We've celebrated birthdays or our weekly, quarterly, whatever get-togethers have occurred. They just all seem to take place this week, where it was just about every day. So I'm looking forward to getting off today and being able to come directly home if that's what I so choose. There aren't any obligations on the table, I should say, for this evening. But I just want to say, just thought about, just life. Life is but a vapor, truly. And just be grateful for the people that you have in your life, and live by the golden rule. Treat people the way you want to be treated. And I thought about all of that, and then I also thought about, in thinking of that, just a whole lot of different stuff going on. And you're thinking about people in leadership. You're looking at the country and the possible shutdown, and just people just aren't able to come together in agreement and make a decision. And life, such as life, life can be political on our level. It's about what he said, what she said. They're with them, she's with him, all kinds of stuff. So life itself on a personal level can be political. But I guess today I want to just talk about be careful who you follow. Because everybody that's in a leadership role, are are they really worth following? You just have to be careful who you follow. Don't be afraid if situations are uncomfortable with the person that is leading you, or, and I'm just not talking about the workforce, I'm talking about everyday life. We get caught up in relationship with people, and people's lives changes, your life changes, my life changes. And when we're traveling, although, and I'll take an example, just here in the natural. When I leave Jacksonville traveling to Baton Rouge, there's a long stretch on I-10. I mean, I have maybe a 5 mile ride, if that, on 295 before I merge on the 10. But when I get onto Interstate 10, I have 500 plus miles. Just straight, just 10. Life just takes me on 10. But in all, and again, 10 will drop me off, and I have maybe 2 miles, depending on where I'm going, whose residence I'm going to. I can have anywhere from 2 to 7 miles to get to my destination. But I have to follow 10 to get there. But if I continue on 10, going north is going to run out up in the Scotlandville area. Or if I merge to 10 and take it toward Port Allen or whatever, I could ride 10 to California. But if I'm trying to get to Baton Rouge, I'm not going to stay on 10 heading west. I'm gonna do 10 where it branches off. So I'm just saying in life, be mindful of who you follow. Be mindful of the roads in life that you have to travel. Don't be afraid to disconnect if being connected with something or somebody makes you uneasy or causes you distress or causes you to just be frazzled. Your health, your mental health, your happiness, those are things that are important to you. And you need to take advantage of them. Don't you let anybody pressure you into remaining in a relationship, whether it be a relationship of a man or woman, whether it be a friendship. Don't you allow anybody to force you to remain in a relationship. You have to protect yourself, and sometimes things come to an end. And if you're in a friendship or a kinship or whatever, and people seem to want to lead you against everything that's in you, you have a right to take an exit. You can take the next exit and be happy with yourself, be at peace with yourself. Because what does it do for you to be in a friendship or a relationship and you're always unhappy? Or you're always giving, and everybody expects you to give. And then when you're in need, where are you? You're by yourself. You just you and God, you're talking, you're struggling. God, why did I'm always doing this? I always do that. Whenever they call me, I drop what I'm doing and I go get them. I go do this for them. If they need me, I'm there. And here I am. And my circumstance may just be that I needed a ride from work home today. And all those people that I've helped, I've driven cross country for, I've paid for tickets for them to fly. I've just done all kinds of things for them. Nobody's there. Be careful who you follow. If it's leading to a place of discomfort, you have a right to exit. Don't let anybody pressure you into feeling like you have to remain in a friendship, in a relationship, in a marriage because you've always been there and you've done this and we've done that. Life changes. We all didn't get to 18 and stop. As long as we were breathing and are breathing, we're making another year older. So it's okay for life to change. And when you get older and when you mature, it's just some things in life you just don't want to deal with no more. There are times in life that just things that you're just not gonna deal with anymore. And I always say that I have never lost a friend but unto death. And I really think there are times in life that because we show ourselves friendly and we are a friend, it doesn't necessarily mean that that person is a friend to us. We may show ourselves friendly to them, but that doesn't mean that person is a friend to us. And you've heard me talk about that before with an individual where, she got off in her thing and got in a relationship and that's fine. And I'm just not the type. If you're my friend and you love your husband or you love your wife, and it's toxic, I can't see myself staying around. Because if I care enough about you, I don't even want to be in the presence of somebody mistreating you, whether it's verbally or I see them just using you for who you are and what you got. And because you're a nice person, because you're a generous person, and I can step away from that situation. I can cover you in prayer. I can ask God to work the situation out that things will change. Or if you need to exit, that God will just show you and you can exit. Um, I think, and as I was thinking about this, I thought about when we first moved here to Jacksonville, and there was a neighbor in the complex that I had met, and she introduced me to a friend and family of that she knew. And that lady and I, we no longer have, God, I can't tell you the last time I've spoken with her. But the family she introduced me to man, look, we still rocking, we still rolling. Uh, and that particular individual, I would have to say, um, I think she was a bit controlling, and I think um, she was, as my husband would say, territorial. Um, and I don't think she was that type. Like, if I'm friends with her and I'm friends with the other person, she kind of like wanted to monopolize on it, like, oh, she was my friend first or whatever, whatever. And she wanted to be that one where you just stopped everything and you were just there for her. Um, so that became, I'm just, I walk away real quick. I don't have a problem walking away. And a friend of mine had talked about a book. I think it was Boundaries and Goodbyes, I think is what it was. And I said I was going to get with a couple of my girlfriends and we were going to read it, to go through it together. But I was telling my husband, I said, I think I'm pretty good with boundaries and goodbyes because I don't have a problem saying goodbye. And as soon as I uttered that, I thought about, well, that really might not be a good thing, because I'm just to the point where, and I can't say that it just happened. I have been like that for as long as I can remember. I'm not going to run behind you. Um, I can talk to you about the situation or whatever. And if we work toward healing or reconciliation, that's one thing. But if we don't, that's okay. And the individual that introduced me to someone, I remember her saying, just because we have forgiven one another and we agreed to move on, it doesn't mean that we have to reconcile our friendship. We're just good. That season has ended. It's okay, and that's probably why we haven't talked in many years, many years. I mean, and if I see her, I'm cordial and we speak. But as far as just reaching out, that doesn't happen. So I just want to say be careful who you follow. And even in the workplace, be careful who you follow. And just know that because your supervisor has the title to lead, you do what you're supposed to do. Because they might have the title to lead, but don't know how to direct you properly in what it is that you need to do. But when you know what your job requires, you do that. And I know a lot of people, they're trying to do a lot more with a lot less. They want a lot of job duties done with less people. Um, and just, get your team and you work together. I tell you, I know I've been in a workplace where it's like, oh my God, the person in charge, God help them and help me. But you go and at one time I had Colossians. I printed it out and I put it on my bulletin board where my desk face. So at numerous times during the day, I would just glance at it and read it and remind myself that I wasn't doing this for my supervisor. And in the school system, all I'm doing for the kids because that's who it ultimately affects, the kids. So I'm doing it for the kids, but I'm working as unto God because that's going to be my reward. Yeah, my paycheck is still going to roll, but I'm not going to get lax because a lot of times we get disturbed, we get frustrated with the situation at our workplaces, and we pull away from the job. We like, I'm just going to do the bare minimum. I'm not doing nothing outside of what I'm supposed to do. But like I say, we work unto God. So if it means you have to step up and do something that's going to better the reason why you're there, and in my case, it's education. You're there for the children. So we're going to have to step outside sometime of our job duties to do what we need to do in order to make sure that the children are safe. And such is it with relationships in marriages. Now, that we fight for because we make vows and we know that everything And hell is fighting against those relationships, those marriages. So sometimes we have to go that extra mile. And we're not always the as they want to say 50-50 marriages, 100 we both got to give 100 in this thing to make it work. And sometimes my gauge might come down a little bit. My tank ain't always full. So therefore, you may need some encouragement, some affirmation or something. And then you look at your spouse, and sometimes they tank might get a little bit low on whatever it is. And you have to encourage them. We have to encourage one another. We have to affirm one another. And I really think it's important to know your spouse's love language so that you can feed into that. Because if you're giving gifts or act of service to a person who wants affirmation, you're wondering why they're not happy, it's because gifts and acts of service is not their love language. They'd rather you get affirm them on a nice dinner that was cooked, or thank you for putting gas in my car. You're an amazing. You look great today. Oh, I like you got a haircut. You did something different to your hair. Affirmation. Whereas if you giving all these things and that don't matter a hill of beans to somebody, and they like physical touch, just holding their hand, you don't even have to give them a hug. Just to touch their hand and just say something to them. So we have to get in tune because there's so much going on out there in this world that whew, that could just set us off and set us back. And we just sometimes just want to stay in situations and relationships that because we have been in them so long, because we have been good to the person, or the person has been good to us. And I really want to make it work, but it takes two in whatever it is, whether it's a marriage or whether it's just a friendship. It takes two people that want to be in there. Um, and we just have to learn we have to learn to love one another, to forgive one another, to encourage one another, to embrace one another. Um, and the biggest thing we have to learn in any relationship is to take ownership. Take the high road. If you've done something, take ownership. If you said something wrong, take ownership. And like I say, that thing that that really spoke to me with that whole Kirk Franklin thing. You got the evidence right there in your face, and you still say it ain't so. And our interpretation of things and our perception. That's why I say a whole lot of texting and stuff. But now these young folks gonna do it. Because you don't see body language, you don't get voice in fluctuation, you get none of that. So whatever I assume you're saying in that text is what I see in that text. And it may very well be far, far from what you said or what you meant. So we just have to um if we value relationships, we just have to um we have to take ownership. We have to take ownership of whatever it is. Because it could just be a simple misunderstanding. And you have to be able to talk it out. And again, when somebody comes to you with, I feel like you did, or when you said, it made me feel like, listen to what they're saying. That's not the opportunity for you to say, well, you did such and such to me, because that just negates whatever they just told you. You're not hearing anything they're saying. And there are people when you want to go and talk to them and about, just a heart to heart. But you did. Well, when I did that, you should have been man or woman enough to say to me then that I did that. Now I'm coming to you because and it may have taken somebody, God, thoughts and weeks to just muster up the the monster up the wherewith to be able to come and talk to you, monster up to just enough strength and confidence to come and talk to you about what was troubling them, because they may be battling in their mind. They're gonna think I'm crazy if I say this, or I know they so petty they gonna feel like this and this. So you don't know what it took for that person to get to you to tell you how whatever it is affected them, to not allow it to infect them. So they're trying to come to you and talk to you about it. And you want to talk about something that they did to you. Own it. Own it. Own it. Own it. And we've talked about that in our marriage. I may come and say, well, honey, this, that, that. Well, you did. And I would have to say, no, this is not the time for you to tell me about that. You should have come to me when I did that, when I said that, or when I didn't do that, or when I didn't say that. Right now, I'm talking to you about how I feel, and we'll deal with that. And then when we get this here thing, when I can get this out, we can come back and talk about what it is that you need to talk about. So people want to come to the defense. Don't always be so defensive when somebody comes to you, because it takes a real person to be able to come to you and say, hey, I feel, you said such and such, and you did such, and this is how it made me feel. Sometimes it takes all some people have to be able to do that, because they may have dealt with rejection all their lives. Every time they've done something, nobody may have ever congratulated them or complimented them on what they've done. They've lived with always being said they weren't good enough or they didn't do something right. And so when you say something to them, it automatically go in defense mode. They go in defense mode. And it's things we have to learn when we're dealing with people, because whether it's friendships, marriages, relationships, whatever, we are 2-3 different people coming into this friendship thing, and it's different personalities. It's all of that. And I tell you, I have yesterday I was out with two beautiful people. I love them. We love one another. Monday I rode with somebody. I rock and roll with somebody else. Wednesday I went to a birthday celebration for somebody else. And there are times, as a matter of fact, yesterday, I was asked what I was doing. I said I was meeting some friends for dinner. And the individual right there was like, "Oh, would it be okay if I come with y'all?" Yeah. Um. So there, and I have friends that I bring all my friends together. I may bring 10, 15 women together, and I don't have a problem if Renee and Bev go get together without me. I'm not because I introduced you all because of us all coming together. Now I got a problem because Bev hangs out with Renee. No, have fun, y'all. Do it. What? Man, it's a sisterhood. We got the rock. We got the roll with whoever, and we never know what another person has to bring to the table for somebody else. We never know that. And that's why when the lady asked yesterday, she's like, I'm not going to rain. Would your friends be okay if I joined you? Yeah, they'll be fine with that. And then she thought about it later on. She said, if it was a bother or if I was crashing and it wasn't welcome, would you tell me? I said I would. If it was something personal that we were dealing with and we were going to talk about, I would say I don't think this is a good time. Maybe we can get together, us later on or whatever. But as I thought about that thing yesterday, I was like, you know what? I think she needs that because I know what she's dealing with. And I know to come in that setting with the ladies that I was meeting with yesterday, would have been a positive for her, would have been a motivation for her. So I just think it was divine to be that way. And I couldn't be like, no, no. Sometimes it's a no, but then sometimes things just happen. And I would not have a problem if either of those ladies reached out to her and talked to her, or she said, hey, what's Charlene's number? What's Iris' number? Can I talk to them? Whatever. Hey, Iris. Hey, Charlene. She wants y'all number. It's okay to get her number to talk to you, and they will definitely say yes. So, but just be careful who you follow, and just because somebody has been given a leadership role in your life, if their leading is not of what you need to be doing, do what you need to do. Don't get sidetracked, because sometimes people that are leading, they get off track. And if you're following them, you'll get off track too. Stay the course. Do what it is that you need to do. Be careful who you follow. And if the person you're following is leading to destruction, and when I say destruction, I'm not like killing or whatever, but when they're leading to where it's destroying your peace, when you're with them, it's destroying your happiness. All those things work on your body and it destroys your body. So be careful who you follow. Work as unto the Lord. Um, be accountable. Be accepting to when somebody comes and says whatever it is they feel. And if even if you know that it's not how it was, explain how it was. Apologize that you made them feel that way. And if you did and you said, own it. Own it. Own it and move on. Apologize and move on. And move on means whatever it means in situation to move. Whether it means to move on and we reconcile this, fine. But if it means move on, I forgive you, and what we had will be cordial, but we won't have that again. We will never get that close, because I just feel like my heart is shattered and I just can't do that anymore. Whatever the case may be. But just be careful. Be mindful. Be vigilant of who you follow, and do what you have to do. Do what's right. Do what's best for you. Do what's best for you and yours in this thing called life. Because, man, as they say now, life is lifing, but death is happening so often, and death is final. Grief of a loved one or a friend of a relationship or whatever can be painful, but guilt is a different beast, and you don't ever want to have to be on the guilt side of it, where I wish I had said, I wish I had done. So, y'all have a fantastically faith-filled Friday. Um, to all those celebrating birthdays the first week of October, happy birthday. And God willing, we'll be back on. I'll be back on next Friday. And in the meanwhile, I will keep you all in prayer, and we'll just pray that God keeps your mind, keeps you healthy. Um, just know He holds your heart in His hand. Whatever pain you're dealing with, man, He's able to soothe that pain. He's able to comfort you. He's able to encourage you. Just speak affirmations to yourself. Encourage yourself. I don't care what the situation may be, how dire it may be. The greater one lives on the inside. And you have power. You have more power than you know you have. So execute it. Execute your power. Y'all take care. Be blessed. Have a fantastically faith-filled Friday, a soulful Saturday, and a soul-stirring Sunday in the church of your choice. Till we meet again, may God keep you, protect you, and just know you're blessed to be a blessing to others. Talk with y'all later. Bye-bye.